Hari ini kita bisa berkumpul untuk mendiskusikan sesuatu yang aktual di sekitar kita. Sebelumnya kami ucapkan terima kasih. Saya ucapkan terima kasih kepada Mr. Philip Ragi dan Pak Muhammad Faisal Karim yang berkenan meluangkan waktu untuk berbagi informasi sekaligus pandangannya terhadap tema diskusi kita pada pagi atau pada siang hari ini yang bicara tentang pergeseran politik di Prancis dan Inggris serta dampak global dan pengaruhnya terhadap Indonesia. Bapak-bapak peserta diskusi yang saya muliakan, hari ini diskusi akan kita awali dengan mendengarkan lagu Indonesia Raya. Selanjutnya akan disampaikan pengantar diskusi oleh pembina Center for Indonesia Reform, yaitu Pak Sabto Waluyo. Selesai dari sambutan, kita langsung masuk ke sesi diskusi yang akan disampaikan oleh Mr. Philip Ragi di sesi pertama. Dilanjutkan penyampaian materi berikutnya oleh Pak Muhammad Faisal. Nanti akan diteruskan dengan sesi tanya jawab, terus akan ada pengumuman door prize, dan setelah itu kita tutup diskusi ini. Mudah-mudahan waktu 2 jam ke depan bisa cukup dan bisa memberikan banyak hal kepada kita. Baik, untuk mempersingkat waktu, mari kita sama-sama dengarkan lagu Indonesia Raya yang akan diputarkan melalui layar alat komunikasi Bapak-Bapak sekalian. Silakan Mas Suranto. Terima kasih Mas Suranto yang telah membantu kita memutarkan lagu kebangsaan Indonesia Raya. Indonesia Raya. Oke.
Jauh.
Ya. Selanjutnya mari kita sama-sama dengarkan pengantar diskusi yang akan disampaikan oleh penasehat Center for Indonesia Reform, Pak Sabto Waluyo. Pada Pak Sabto kami persilakan.
Terima kasih, Mas Subhan. Philip Ragi.
Thank you.
Di wilayah barat ya, pantai barat Prancis rupanya. Quite far from Paris.
Yeah.
It's about 40
Yes,
Thank you so much
exactly.
for your attending this discussion. Dan juga terima kasih kepada Bang Dr. Faisal Karim, ini tokoh muda kita. Mr. Philip is very senior researchers. Actually is Indonesian is from France ya. Jadi sangat jarang kita temui ada seorang pengamat ahli tentang Indonesia yang berasal dari Perancis, biasanya dari Australia, mostly from United States and Western countries. Ya. Jadi very special guest for us because Mr. Phillips is very competent ya to explain ya the situation there in France ya. Jadi kita saat ini dikejutkan dengan hasil pemilu di Perancis dan Inggris ya, the result of recent election in France and UK ya, yang menang be the winners ya. Sehingga kemungkinan terjadi perubahan di Eropa ya. Kita ingin dengar dari Mr. Philip bagaimana situasi in France ya, dan juga global impact ya, akibat dari pergeseran politik itu. Sementara dari Bang Faisal, tokoh muda kita dari Universitas Islam Indonesia, Internasional Indonesia ya, ini juga sempat menempuh pendidikan S3 in UK. Ya. Nah, kita ingin dengar bagaimana dampak atau pengaruh dari perubahan politik di Inggris, termasuk terhadap Indonesia, yang kita nanti akan mendapat atau menghadapi pemerintahan baru, the new government in Indonesia, ya, October this year. Ya. We have the new president, Mr. Phillips.
Yeah,
And
I know, I know.
yeah, I think Mr. Prabowo is one of your colleagues, yeah? Maybe.
Well, I'm not I'm not a general.
Yes. Mr. Philip ini ahli geopolitik, beliau pernah di Akademi Geopolitik di Paris, ya. Tahun lalu, ya, few years ago, we invited Profesor
Yes, exactly.
Emerick
My
Sofrat,
colleague.
ya. Ini salah seorang senior colleague dari Mr. Philip yang menjadi director of our college di
Ya.
Paris ya. Nah, jadi kita sudah berhubungan cukup lama dan mendengar public lecture dari Profesor Emerick ya, tentang geopolitik di Eropa yang cukup berpengaruh terhadap kondisi Indonesia ya. I'm very happy to attend this discussion ya. Terima kasih kepada teman-teman di Center for Home ya, kepada Mas Subhan, Mas Suranto dan kawan-kawan. Di sini juga hadir kawan-kawan dari from Semarang ini, Mr. Philip, Dr. Sohe. He is a historian ya. Dia ahli sejarah, baru saja menerbitkan buku. Mungkin nanti kita akan diskusi tentang buku sejarah di Indonesia, dan beberapa kawan yang lain juga hadir di beberapa kota. Terima kasih Mas Subhan, bisa kita lanjutkan.
Terima kasih Pak Sabto yang sudah memberikan sambutan pengantar untuk diskusi kita pada siang hari ini. Oke. Acara berikutnya langsung kita dengarkan bersama-sama paparan yang akan disampaikan oleh Mr. Philip Pragi. But before you start your presentation, maybe you can introduce yourself in a simple explanation. Please, Mr. Philip, time
Yeah.
for you.
So as Pa Sapto said, I am working at the Geopolitik International Academy in France. I am also a senior researcher on in another place at the French Intelligence Research Center for 25 years, I think. I don't remember exactly. 24. So I am very interested also and in Southeast Asia, and especially on Indonesia. That's the reason why I came more than 10 times RE to see and talk with several people from the military, politics, economics domain, to talk with them and to understand much more about your country. And because reading books is one thing, and to be in contact with people from the country you study is better. That's my point of view. So, but today I'm not going to talk about Indonesia. You know Indonesia better than I do. I am going to talk about my country and about the French legislative election. So PowerPoint I will show you, and I will talk about it, and I will discuss about it using slides. So I will share my my screen with you. Do you see it? Do you see my?
Yeah, clearly.
Is it fine?
Fine, good.
Okay. So let's start. Okay. So today I will present the French legislative elections, but in an unconventional approach, and you will see why I use this adjective. So I will start with the context, because we need to understand everything before, behind, and on the side, to understand this election and the result also. So as you see, it's the second and last term of President Macron, because in make a third term. Among the French population, you have had in the past, in a recent past, some strikes and some riots also. For example, the Yellow Jacket riots. Also some strikes about the retirement reform made during the last legislature, etc. You have also recently, at the beginning of this month, the European election. And it's important to talk about these European elections, because just after the result of this European election, President Macron decided to dissolve the French National Assembly. But it was not a surprise. It was, in fact, premeditated. We know today that this idea of dissolution was old. He announced it to the Assembly, to Ursula von der Leyen, the president of the EU elections. So you see, it was not really a reaction just after the result of the legislative election in France. So we could reasonably imagine a plan behind his move. But what plan? That is the question. In order to have a good understanding of French politics, let me introduce you some of the French political parties. You see three groups: right, centrum, leftist or left. And I will begin with the Rassemblement National, the national coalition, if you want. They are qualified far right or right, if you want. They say that they are defending poor French people. The primary interest that they defend, that's their place. They just want their piece of cake, unfortunately, like many other political parties. You have also a small group called Les Républicains, so Republicans, if you want. Noted that they split during this recent legislative election. They split because few of them joined the Rassemblement National. They represent the conservative bourgeoisie. They say they defend values, but in fact, they defend pretending values that are more listed on the French stock exchange. After you have the majorité présidentielle, the presidential majority, which is not one, in fact, because it's not a majority. To tell you how little popularity Macron has, the candidates of his party did not put the picture of Macron on their posters for the elections, as it is usually done. Being short about this party, they protect rich people, big companies, and they don't really care about the poor. They have globalists, WEF, the World Economic Forum, and they are Washington-oriented. After, on the left side, you have what I call the New Reds. These New Reds abandoned the social question for wokeism, cancel culture, and the LGBT ideology. And also they approve the globalist agenda. Most left-wing parties, since almost 30 years now, have abandoned support for workers and have shifted their support to immigrants from Africa. what Karl Marx are now, for most of them, Rassemblement National voters. After, you have, so the first of the left, Parti Socialiste, the Socialist Party, a flag After you have the ecologists, they are leftist. So you see the watermelon, this is what they are, green outside and red inside. They are part of the new Reds. You have the Communist Party, and they became new Reds since the end of the 90s. And finally, you have the La France Insoumise, Insoumise France, the far left, new Reds also, but more radical, maybe. Yeah. I must underline that they are different faces of the same system. All of them have the same fundamental roots, what I call the market ideology. So some will put the spot on economy, the red or the center, asking for a more open country, a disappearance of sovereignty. And some will focus more on societal than social values, destroying traditional values and national identity. But the basis of both right and left is the market ideology. So for your information, I need to talk about few things in France. The mainstream media in France, they are owned by only few oligarchs. They diffuse control news showing the extreme right, the far right, at a very high level in order to scare public opinion. They are stigmatizing what they call anti-Semitism. In fact, everything which is against Israel. Some of these oligarchs are Jews or binational, Franco-Israeli. You see, all of them are globalists. You must know that 11 oligarchs in France own 85% of the mainstream media. After, you have something about the polling institute. They are also biased. Who pay orders? So they succeed in showing the so-called far right as a threat, the far left as anti-Semitic, like a scarecrow, in order to encourage voters to vote correctly. After, I must talk about money. You must know that the legislative election is the moment where French political parties pocket the most public money. To illustrate this, I will focus on just two elements. The first one is that for these elections, each political party, earns 1.69 euro or almost 30,000 rupiah. This for each vote they have received. These elections are the most important political event for them. It is a question of existential survival for the political parties. Second element, each MP receives, apart from their salary, which is around 145 million rupiah each month, they receive 37,000 euro a year, or almost 650 million rupiah, to spend as they wish, and this without the control of the Court of Accounts. And last, the electoral division system. And bringing this up requires me to expand on it a little, if you don't mind. So I will give you a way to base an election, how to win or steal an election using scissors. This happened in France today and since decades. In picture 1, you see, here is a situation where we have 50 voters. 30 vote blue and 20 vote red. Let's divide them now into 5 equal constituencies of 10 voters. So we are now in the number 2 picture. Here you have a fair distribution there with 5 zones of 10 voters each. This division is ideal since it respects the balance of opinions in the constituency. Excuse me. We have also another. Oh, sorry. We have also another approach in the point in the number 3. It's a non-representative distribution. In this situation, if the vote is predominantly blue, this distribution is very unfair because it removes any red representation. As you see, the red have 0 elected. And in picture 4, in this division, the constituencies are neither geographically compact nor fair, since the red, who are in the minority, win at the end. So now let's go to the first round of the legislative election. So I give you the figures for the 4 biggest parties, not all the result. On the left, you have the puppet coalition called the New Popular Front. They seem to be compact and together for the run, but in fact, they run independently. I can give you a proof, for example. Many of the most popular persons from this so-called coalition are now going away from the one of the political party, the radical left, La France Insoumise, and they are trying to come close to the presidential group in order to get some ministerial posts and other positions. And you see in this picture that the Rassemblement National is the winner with 34%. But between the two rounds, the only thing we heard here in the mainstream media was build a dam in front of the far right, a Republican dam. But Beaver's work is not a political program. So a part of the left and the far left builds was made up of La France Insoumise, the Socialist Party, the Ecologists, and the French Communist Party. Here, I must still point out one important thing. Within this new Popular Front and within the entire political left, it's the Palestinians since the beginning of the massacres committed by the Israeli army. This is perhaps the only positive point to bring to their credit. And this has led them to become outcast by the mainstream media. And the media has been fatal for them because this political party, La France Insoumise, is now sidelined and treated as a pariah, you know. And I will talk in details and in fact. The Rassemblement National, the so-called far right, is today totally normalized and fit the globalist agenda. Even in the mainstream media, we should know that they support the continuation of the abortion policy. They support the European agenda, abandonment of sovereignty, and the quasi-federal EU. They support and want a submission to the USA. They support maintaining the corrupt regime in Kiev, in Ukraine. They support delivering weapons and money to Ukraine against Russia. They support the state of Israel and its policy against the Palestinians. Very curious far right. Now we arrive at the second tour. And let's see the result. I put two pictures and this is the same. But if you see the left picture, wins, but let's see it in detail. The new Popular Front, so they get 182 seats, 71 for the Insoumise. Socialists, they get 64 seats. The Ecologists and other 3 seats, as you see in the right picture. But there is no more far left coalition. There is no more New Popular Front. It exploded immediately after the result. You have the presidential majority in the left picture. It is composed by several political parties. Renaissance, which is the name of the political party of Macron, 98 seats. Horizons with 26 or 33 seats, sorry. Horizon, no, 26, yes. 34 seats, and UDI 1 seat, and other 4. You have the Republicans, as you see, 39 seats, and finally the Rassemblement National with 143 seats. So there is not any majority, 289 seats or more on the 577 seats that make up the National Assembly. If in the window presentation on the left, the far left appear to be the winner, in reality, talk about now about a French paradox. You have here is a paradox that I leave to your appreciation, to your reflection. Here, in the dotted red rectangle, you have the winners in votes. New Popular Front second, and the presidential majority third. And in the blue rectangle, you have the winners in seats in the National Assembly. You will agree with me that there is like a small problem. But let's talk about the real winners. You have 4 winners. They are 4, but not the ones you think of. You have Macron, yes. Macron is still president until 2027. But who is he? He is a young global leader from the World Economic Forum, like many other French politicians. He was, before starting a political career, he was an authorized representative of the Rothschild Bank. So you imagine who he addressed. Other winner also, the globalist agenda, the World Economic Forum with Klaus Schwab. What I in my picture, I put Santa Claus because I'm talking about Klaus Schwab, of course. Another real company, McKinsey, you know, maybe, it is an international strategy consulting firm. Members of this firm have infiltrated the entire state apparatus in France at the highest level. Emmanuel Macron's party by a majority of people who worked just before for McKinsey. Since his first election in 2017, Macron has on numerous occasions called on McKinsey to conduct his economic, social, education. The last but not least winner is BlackRock. BlackRock, it's an American multinational asset management company, a gigantic enterprise with colossal wealth exceeding that of many countries, European or not. BlackRock $10,000 billion in assets under management. They have a considerable power of influence. In France, they have an immense real estate portfolio throughout the country. They are present in most of thanks to the fact that they own a large number of shares. They own a large number of the French debt asset also, that what we call the sovereign debt. In short, BlackRock holds France in hand. Other countries are throughout the world. So Macron will choose soon a PM, a prime minister, who will satisfy the political parties, ranging from part of the Republican, the right, from the right, to the communists, which will allow him or less stable majority, less than more, in fact, in front of La France Insoumise, the radical left, the far left, and in front of the Rassemblement National, the far right. Some says that he will opt for a PM chosen not from a political party, but from the so-called civil society. Be sure that the chosen one will be a person with a globalist, anti-national, and pro-market mindset. France will continue pro-EU and globalist magma, and the French people will suffer even more. So I will make a small first conclusion, which is not one. So, some elections, we must take into account the fact that constitutionally, the French National Assembly cannot be dissolved before 1 year. Also, the far left say that the elections were stolen, which is not really false. Is happy to have more deputies, members of parliament, than before during the previous legislature. Being in the opposition side is a very comfortable situation for them, French population are not really represented at the National Assembly because of what we call here the system, electoral division system, the corruption, collusion, mainstream media, etc. You know KKN in Indonesia, so the resentment will grow with strikes and maybe a new kind of riots. I think we will have riots and strikes in September, beginning in September. I'm sure of that. Particularly in electronic voting and proxy voting also. Fraud is suspected also because between 18 and 20 hours in the evening, all the results